The reason why I'm sitting here in front of this camera, in front of this microphone, in front of all these fragrances, talking to you, but in reality talking to a lens, is because you guys wanted to see this. Recently we did a niche version of this video, which is actually the 7th episode in this series that we've done so far. And if you missed it, you can check it out here, and you guys just ate that video up, and I am beyond grateful that you enjoyed it. You enjoyed the concept, you enjoyed the format, and we're going to continue doing it with the 8th installment in this series, which I never thought I would see for any series really. This series started back in, if I'm not mistaken, 2021. So we've been doing this for some time, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. I love categorizing my fragrances, and that's what this is all about. This is more about the categories, about the scenarios, than it is about the fragrances I'm filling them with. I'm filling these 10 practical life scenarios with fragrances that I would choose to wear. You may not choose to wear these, and that's okay. This video is kind of about my selections because I'm the one making the video, but what I really want you to do is think about wearing your fragrances functionally. Think about what you would fill these categories with. And if you need a nudge, if you need a little bit of motivation or some kind of idea of what type of fragrance to fill these categories with, then yeah, my selections can serve as recommendations, if you will. And for that reason, you can find them all at the first link below that like button in the description box. All of them can be found at Max Aroma, who's bringing you guys this video. We talk about them all the time. They're a great place to find a lot of fragrances you might be looking for at some great prices around the internet, a lot of discounts. They have a great way to sample fragrances. So that link is going to take you to Max Aroma, where you can once again find all 10 of these fragrances. And with all that out the way, let's dive right into it. The 10 scenarios we're going to cover today are everyday, casual day warm, sophisticated day warm, sophisticated evening warm, date warm, casual day cool, sophisticated day cool, sophisticated evening cool, date cool, and showstopper. I'll explain each one as we go. First one up here for the everyday category. This is a fragrance that, as it sounds, you could wear this as a signature scent. You could wear it anytime, anywhere, every day of the year, as long as you love it. This is what I might spray. And again, your pick might be different, and that's okay. This is coming from the Italian designer house Brioni, which is severely and absurdly underrated and under-discussed for some reason. And this is called Eau de Parfum Éclat. And this is a simple fragrance, but it's one that has a definitive nature to it. It is simply grapefruit, fresh, cooling, musky, woody. That's mostly what I get out of this. It is airy. There's this very staticky, white, musky, airy feel that is enveloping, that is a little bit warming, but it is overall a pretty fresh fragrance. The grapefruit here that I get is more like the rind of the grapefruit more than it is the fruit. There is a bitterness here, but not necessarily a juicy, citrusy feel. It's just a sharpness that adds a little bit of contrast to that very soft, enveloping, musky layer that kind of personifies this fragrance. And once again, that's about it. That's all I really get, but its simplicity is what lends to its versatility. You could wear it anytime, anywhere. It could have you smelling casual. It could have you smelling a little bit more upscale. It fits everything, at least for me. Let me know what you think if you've tried it. That's Brioni EDP Éclat. Casual day warm. I've talked about this fragrance quite a bit since I first reviewed it a couple years ago, and I've gotten more wear out of it since I've had it than I thought I would. From the house of Bvlgari, this is Man Rain Essence, and this is a beautiful, fresh, watery fragrance. As the name says, it is intended to depict rain, the serenity, the peacefulness, the calm tranquility that rain can bring. And you kind of do have that vibe. There is a calm nature to this one. There's this grounded feel. There is this wet, rainy, gloomy day feel, but it is refreshing. I think lotus blossom is what brings the watery nature, and there's some tea in here that really makes it feel calming, but there is this masculine woodiness to it that really makes it feel like a man's scent. But overall, it's a casual fragrance. I would just easily say that. That's how I wear it. This could be a dumb reach for those casual situations where I'm just going to be at home, or maybe I'm going out for a walk, running an errand. I don't want to be taken too seriously. I just want to smell clean. But this does it in a slightly more interesting way than your typical generic men's fresh designer fragrance. So I really respect it for that. That is Man Rain. Look at this. We're just gonna put it over here. Man Rain Essence from Bvlgari. Sophisticated Day Warm. This is also a relatively simple scent profile, but one with a whole lot of definitiveness. This one smells like really nothing else out there. And I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with this line, because I think they created something special. They've done a couple of follow-ups to it that have been good, but there's a lot they can still do with it. From Hermes, this is H24 Eau de Toilette. This originated the collection. I believe it came out 2021. I bought it from Hermes maybe with within the first month that it was released. It honestly had to grow on me. I was expecting something as deep and rich and iconic as Terre Hermes, and it didn't quite do that for me, but I had to realize it's its own thing. I really respect a major designer house going out on a limb and creating a brand new DNA that they can build from instead of just milking flanker after flanker after flanker. It's a risk to go out on a limb and create something new and introduce it to the market. Now this fragrance is this green metallic fresh scent. It is a little bit sweet in this almost banana-like way. That may not sound great, but it is subtle enough in the EDT to just add a beautiful amount of interest in the air. And I think the sweetness comes from clary sage, if I'm not mistaken. It's this herbal sweetness, a little bit green, these sharp metallic notes that are kind of cooling, definitely fresh, and this earthy green heart and base of Narcissus, which is a very unique highlighted ingredient in this scent profile. You don't see that highlighted a whole lot in the designer realm. So once again, I applaud Hermes for doing what they did with this to create something that's simple yet unique and definitive, and creating a groundwork that they can build from. It's masculine, it's easy, but there's something classy about it. That's why I consider it for more sophisticated wear. Because it doesn't smell like your typical out the shower fragrance, I think it catches the nose of passerby a little bit differently, a little bit more captivatingly. That's H24 EDT. Sophisticated, evening, warm. Another fresher profile here because again, we're talking about the warmer months, but because it's sundown, because it is nighttime, I chose something that has a darkness to it that perfectly goes with the evening, but still has a clean freshness to it. From Tom Ford, this is Oud Minérale. I believe this is their 2023 refresh. It's basically the same as it was before. I'm glad they brought it back into the signature line. I'm glad they didn't give up on this one because this is a fantastic scent profile that might be a little bit polarizing. You might even say that they've kind of made it more accessible in this new version, but still keeping the magic of what it was. Some people might say you would wear this in the daytime or really anytime, but I think the smokiness, this oceanic woody smokiness, is what really makes it nighttime for me. I don't really care for smoky scents when the sun is out. When the sun is down, smoke, I definitely lean towards that. So this is a smoky aquatic, a little bit seaweedy, green, salty, woody, and again, definitely smoky. There's something mysterious about it. There's something enigmatic about it. It doesn't smell typical. It does smell fresh without smelling clean, if that makes sense, but that's a good thing here. Again, the darkness here makes it a little bit more lean in worthy, if you will. Catches the attention more because it really stands out as a different type of fresh fragrance. So let me know if you dig this one, and also if you might enjoy it for the evening as well when you want to be a little bit more dressed up. Tom Ford Oud Minérale. Now for our date warm category, I'm going to give this a spray, and I have to be honest with you guys, I don't love this collection, but I do believe this is the best of this collection, and I do like this one. This is the best flanker that they have produced for this particular very popular collection from Versace. This is Eros Flame, and a little asterisk on this, I've included this in a previous episode of this series, and one of my top rules for myself is that I never repeat fragrances within a series, and I've done that pretty dang well. I think I've only repeated one other one outside of this one, and it may have even been on accident, I'm not sure, but this was purposefully put here. I had to put it here because I frankly don't really have a much better option to give to you that's better than this. This does it really well. So I just had to be honest and say I could try to squeeze something else in here, but Eros Flame does it just fine. I'm gonna keep it in this spot for myself. It does have the mass appeal of Eros, that sweet kind of fresh, minty, spicy feel, very vanilla forward. Yes, that's here, but it's just more edgy. There's more texture and depth to it. Mandarin orange really leads the way. It's a zingy, juicy orange blended with vanilla, but made, again, a little bit more textural with lots of spices, maybe some other fresher florals in there, some woods. It is masculine. It is, again, mass appealing, but thankfully it's not boyish, especially nowhere near as much as the original. I could still see a confident guy wearing this on a date. There is a good bit of sweetness to it, which is perfect for a date or more intimate occasion because sweetness in the air is kind of irresistible, but there's a good bit of freshness in here to still do well with a warmer evening. So I want to know what you guys think of Eros Flame. Again, I still think they have yet to top this one. Now we're into our cooler weather fragrances, and we're starting with Casual Day Cool. This fragrance is pretty versatile. You could wear it in the warmth too, but I just think the personality of this scent, while being a little bit more fresh, lends itself to being even a cooler weather fragrance too, and it can be a little bit more dressed up, but it is perfectly casual as well. This is from Narciso Rodriguez and it's Bleu Noir Eau de Parfum. This collection does perfectly well pretty much all year round. casual or more dressed up, but I put it casually here because it just does well for that. It is kind of a blue smelling fragrance in a way, but not your typical shower gel scent. It is musk based. If you know this collection, pretty much every fragrance Narciso Rodriguez produces has musk in it and features it pretty forwardly. So there's a warm, enveloping, smooth rug musk, so to speak. But that surrounds a little bit of juiciness, maybe some citrus, some woods. It's often compared to something like Cartier Declaration Eau de Toilette, and I totally agree with that. Maybe the EDT version of this smells even more like that Cartier, but if you don't like that Cartier, if you've tried it, this is something you should try instead, because it takes that DNA and it rounds it out, makes it more accessible, maybe even more modern, so to speak. It's perfect for a casual day, whether you're going to be in or out by yourself or with someone. It just smells clean, but it still smells interesting. That's Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir EDP. Now let's get a little bit more dressed up, more sophisticated. Maybe you want to wear this to work. That doesn't mean you have to work in an office or even a super professional environment, but wherever you work, maybe you just want people to take you seriously. You want to smell nice, refined, put together for the daytime. I think this is perfect. I think this is an absolute classic. It's been around for some time. It maybe even inspired some trends in designer perfumery from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. This is M7. It's gone through different iterations. I do believe this is the most modern iteration of what used to be called M7 Oud Absolute. If I'm not mistaken, this is that fragrance. They just simplified it. They got rid of the Oud Absolute and they just made it M7 again. Man, this is a classy freaking scent. Now the scent personality itself lends itself more to the evening, if I'm honest with you, but the reason why I'm putting it in the daytime is because of its presence. The performance of this, it's a little bit more transparent, it's a little lighter, it doesn't scream and project like crazy, maybe sits a little closer to the skin, and for that reason I think it does perfectly when you want to have a more sophisticated feel during the daytime. It's not going to be taking up space and getting a whole lot of attention like you might want to do during the evening. It's a sweet, warm, ambery oud fragrance. There's myrrh resin, so there's this sweeter, almost fresh, resinous feel, very damp feeling, maybe some patchouli in there, a little bit of citrus off the top, maybe some mandarin orange. It's just a perfect blend of this damp, ambery, earthy orange that's a little bit fresh and maybe mostly sweet, but still transparent. Very classy stuff. Let me know if you dig this one. M7 from Yves Saint Laurent. This fragrance has quite a following, kind of a cult classic from this collection. It took me a little bit of time to come around to it. I didn't jump on right away, but now I really enjoy it, and I think it's perfect for our next scenario, which is sophisticated evening cool. From the house of Prada, this is Luna Rossa Black. I know a lot of you guys really dig this one. To put it simply, this is a slightly fresh, sweet, powdery vanilla with some angelica, which I think adds this green feel that really pulls it away from super basic, super mainstream vanilla fresh fragrances. Thank God for that. It smells mass appealing while smelling interesting. I do believe black is the perfect term for it. It lends itself to the evening, this nighttime mysterious feel, but it's still kind of sophisticated. You could do date wear with this as well. I think that's fine, but I think it's going to be great when you want to dress up, when you want to be taken more seriously, when the sun goes down, especially when it's cool out. Beautiful stuff. Let me know if you enjoyed this one. Prada Luna Rossa Black. We got an old favorite here. This fragrance is over 10 years old, maybe a little bit overshadowed these days, but it's a special one from perfumer Olivier Polge for the house of Valentino. We have the original Valentino Uomo, and this is a perfect date cool fragrance. This is beautiful date night material. It smells so alluring and delicious while not smelling overtly gourmand and still smelling quite masculine. I do believe there's the illusion of iris here. I don't know if iris is actually officially in here, but it smells like it is. There's a slight powdery floral feel. There is this chocolate, there's this nuttiness, there's this warm woodiness, but there's still a little bit of a freshness to it, maybe a citrus off the top that is very welcoming. Something about this just smells delicious. It smells delectable, but also very masculine and refined and put together and kind of sexy if you're asking me. So if you want something that smells great on a date night, that's not typical, that's not your standard run-of-the-mill boyish high school smelling sweet fresh fragrance, then I'm gonna go back to this classic that is completely timeless and deserves to be talked about even to this day. I prefer it to any other flanker that Valentino is putting out from this collection. The original ones still do it for me, and especially the OG. That is Valentino Uomo Eau de Toilette. And for a showstopper, you want something that's going to get attention. Maybe you need a scent that will compete with other scents in the room. You want something that smells put together, refined, but confident, authoritative, maybe even a little bit boisterous, but with class. What did I pick for this? Something kind of boring, but also not all that boring. From Dior, Sauvage Elixir. A lot of you guys already know this stuff is a beast. It's so powerful, it's so heavy and rich, while still having a bit of this fresh, spicy feel from the original Dior Sauvage, that classic barbershop style fougere, but less on the barbershop feel here. Definitely has a bit of an old school flair while still being modern, and it's not quite as soapy fresh as your typical fougere or even as its predecessors in this collection, but it still carries a cleanliness to it, but it's a dark cleanliness. Lots of spices, woods, a little bit of sweetness in there, kind of fresh, but it's more bottom heavy, and it sticks around for days on the clothes. It sticks around all day on the skin, and it lingers like crazy in the air. If you want to have that strong sillage, that strong scent trail, you don't need more than 2 sprays of this. People will smell you. They may not say anything, they might say something, but either way, they will remember that you smell fantastic, and hopefully you look fantastic too. Make sure you dress the part as well. That's even more important than the fragrance you put on. But for a showstopper scenario, when I really want to stand out, I'm considering this one, Sauvage Elixir from Dior. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments if you want to try these fragrances. Once again, you can check them out at Max Aroma, linked in the description. And thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.